In a move that will be celebrated across the world, October 25th will now be known as the day Microsoft officially killed the Kinect. What is going on, guys? Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, back again with another video. And finally, it is over. The era of the Kinect is officially ended. As of today, October 25th, Microsoft has confirmed that they are no longer manufacturing the Xbox Kinect for the Xbox One. They'll still support it for the users that have it on the console, but once retailers run out of stock, there will be no new shipments of the peripheral that, in my opinion, basically almost destroyed the Xbox. Yeah, as you guys can tell, I am not a fan of the Kinect whatsoever. I never liked the device. In fact, I attribute most of the downfall of the Xbox brand to the way Microsoft tried to embrace this technology and sell it to its core users who wanted nothing to do with it. That's, of course, just my opinion. I know a lot of people out there do enjoy the voice activation features of Kinect, but I was never one of them at all. So let's kind of run over the history of the Kinect and get to why we're here. So Microsoft unveiled the Kinect in 2010 to great fanfare. It sold incredibly well. I think it was like the best-selling tech device ever in a short amount of time or whatever it was. They went on to sell like 30 million of the things, and it helped extend the life cycle of the Xbox 360. So much so that Microsoft decided that everybody wanted one of these things. Even though it sold incredibly well, nobody seemed to enjoy the games for it. There was a couple decent games for the Kinect, but most of the games were pretty terrible. And this is coming from someone who's played most of the Kinect 360 games. So Microsoft, in their infinite wisdom, decided, you know what? We're going to make a system that is going to be required Kinect. Kinect is going to be required, and if you don't have Kinect plugged in, well, it won't even work, right? You guys remember this. They made Kinect 2.0 to go along with the Xbox One, and before launch, they backtracked on it and said that, oh no, it'll work without it. It'll work without it, right? System came out. It was $500. It had a Kinect, had some Kinect games for it, but you could tell people really weren't into it. And 6 months after the system came out, or maybe it was 4 months, Don Mattrick left the company. Phil Spencer, who is the current head of the Xbox, took over. And one of the very first things Phil decided to do was remove Kinect from the box, because you couldn't buy an Xbox One without buying Kinect. So he removed the Kinect because they realized nobody wanted Kinect. None of their hardcore users, the ones who were buying their system at launch, wanted the damn thing. So they removed it. And in my opinion, the Kinect is the reason Xbox is kind of where it's at. I know people will point to the DRM, the DRM kind of talk that happened at E3 and them getting rid of it. And yeah, that has a little bit to do with it, but in my opinion, the Kinect has a lot to do with it. Because if you look at the reason why PlayStation is winning this gen, dominating this gen, 2-1, 3-1, depending on who you ask, it comes down to certain factors. It comes down to a certain combination of factors, shall I say. Price. Well, because Microsoft put the Kinect in there, they had to raise the price of the system. So instead of being able to sell the system at $400 to be able to compete with the PlayStation 4, they also had to bundle in this Kinect sensor, which goes by itself for $150, and they sold the system for $500, effectively making it $100 more expensive than the PS4. And that, in my opinion, is if you had to delve down to the number one reason why the PlayStation was beating the Xbox, price is always the biggest factor. So the fact that the Xbox was $100 more expensive was, in my opinion, the number one factor. Number two, power. Now, because of the Kinect and all the R&D research that had to go into it and how much it cost and things like that, they went for more broad entertainment play, and they said that in interviews. They didn't kind of target a great spec console system, right? Which is what they're doing with the Xbox One X. So because of that, because they had a portion of their R&D development budget and everything go towards the Kinect, they couldn't make the Xbox One as powerful as the PS4. And then you end up with things like Resolution Gate, where all these multi-platform games run better on PlayStation because the Xbox One wasn't as powerful as the Kinect, or wasn't as powerful as the PS4 because the Kinect was there, right? So now you're paying for an Xbox One, you're paying $100 more than a PS4 for a system that is, on paper, weaker. And people blew that out of proportion because all these multi-platforms came out, and the Xbox One version was like running 720p, the PS4 version was 900, or the Xbox was 900, and the PlayStation version was 1080p, and it's all attributable to Kinect. Because if they got rid of the Kinect, the price would have changed, the innards of the system would have changed because they gave it the memory they needed to be able to snap certain apps and stuff like that. But it's all directly attributable to the Kinect, in my opinion. So I am happy, and I've always been happy when they basically stop supporting it. It's something like this is a peripheral you introduce at the end of a generation, or maybe midpoint, to maybe draw in more casual gamers who don't necessarily care about the big hardcore franchises. It's not something you start your box out with, because the hardcore gamers who buying your system at launch, they don't care about Kinect, and they never did. Microsoft was just trying to force the peripheral down our throats, assuming that they weren't going to get any backlash for everything that they were doing, and it almost destroyed the Xbox brand to a certain degree. I mean, it's hurt. The brand isn't what it was during the 360 era, but Microsoft is climbing back. Some of the changes that Phil's done, in my opinion, has been great. You finally have a system in the Xbox One X that is powerful enough and is focused on the core game experience. Playing these games as the best they possibly can, which is what they should have focused with on the original Xbox One to begin with. But they went with that broad entertainment play where you could snap TV and you could Skype and you could watch the NFL and all the TV, nonsense. They got rid of all that, and now they're just building a system just for games, which is what Sony was originally positioning the PS4 as. So Microsoft is finally getting back to their roots, and killing the Kinect is one of the things that they had to do. Part of me wishes that the Kinect was just a failure from the start, because if it was, we never would have went down this road, and this generation probably would have played it a lot differently. How would this generation have played out if the Xbox One and the PS4 were the same price with the same specs? No resolution gate, games played virtually similar, and the price was the same. How different does this generation play out? I think it plays out quite a lot differently. I know the DRM stuff scared a lot of gamers before the system came out, but they kind of rectified that before the system came out. So I don't think that has as much of a deal as the price, as the system being $100 more expensive and you're buying a weaker system. So I think it would have changed quite a bit. I don't think PlayStation wins by 2-1 or 2.5-1 or whatever it is. In fact, if the Xbox One was the same price as PS4 at launch and was spec'd similar, I almost would imagine that the Xbox One is still winning North America. something just tells me that's the case. But, it does suck for people that do like the Kinect. I ain't gonna lie. It sucks when something you enjoy gets killed off by the company that makes it. But they are still supporting it. So you still have support for the Kinect. So you can still use it on your Xbox One, your Xbox One S, or your Xbox One X. So if you still enjoy it, you can still use it. They're just not making any more of these. And you knew this was going to come down the road. Once they got rid of it out of the box, once developers didn't have to target it anymore, it was only a matter of time before this thing was officially discontinued. And the fact that they're discontinued it and all that stuff means that nobody cares about Kinect, and nobody has cared about Kinect. And I doubt they're even... Wouldn't surprise me if they're not really focusing on any more quality of life features for speech recognition and things like that on the system, because why bother? Who barely even... I would love to see how many people actually use Kinect. But I'm happy it's officially dead. It never should have existed in the first place. In my opinion, it's the reason Xbox is in the position it is in. You get rid of the Kinect, things would have been different. But they focused too much on it and put it as part of the experience when it always should have been just an accessory, just an add-on experience, instead of forced on users who didn't want it. Anyways, guys, that is the video. Let me know what you think about Microsoft killing the Kinect. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button. Consider subscribing for more content. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I will see you in the next one. Later, guys.